It's such an unnatural stream, but I think it does it with style.
When the Miami and Shawnee tribes lived in the area, Mill Creek was a meandering, tree-lined flume that served as a sanctuary for wildlife, a dependable food source, and recreational oasis for folks that lived in its fertile valley. But Cincinnati was the sixth largest city in America, and industrialization was pressuring it to remain so. Soon the idyllic waterway was held for ransom by the explosion of industry that lined its banks.
The industry that grew up along the banks of Mill Creek took advantage of it as an easy and convenient dumping ground.
Breweries, slaughterhouses, especially slaughterhouses, soap making.
Mill Creek was the power source for the Industrial Revolution in Cincinnati. So that meant that everything that they discharged went right into the Mill Creek. It was an open sewer.
You know, growing up in Cincinnati, I think that's what I and everybody heard about Mill Creek. It was a place to avoid. Why in the world would you want to go there?
It was really a catalog of environmental horrors.
In 1997, the stream was sort of in its darkest days, and at that point, American Rivers, which is a big national river and stream conservation group, named Mill Creek as the most endangered urban stream, not only in America, but in the whole continent, in North America.
Mill Creek had suffered 200 years of abuse and misuse. Everyone thought Mill Creek was hopeless.
Back in the mid-90s, you had to be a little crazy, very brave, or possibly both, to look at the problem and think, you know, I can do something about that.
So the seemingly insurmountable uphill battle to save Mill Creek was underway.
A lot of meetings, so many boardroom meetings. And it got to the point like, oh my God, we're going through another meeting in this OKI boardroom about a mile away from the creek. Why don't we just get down there and see what it's like in person? They agree with me that it's like another world down there. They didn't know it was all there.
Obscured to many and rife with neglect, Mill Creek was desperate for rescue from its harsh mistreatment.
Well, I saw potential. So I was a member of the Mill Creek Restoration Project, and then Groundwork Mill Creek, and now, of course, the Mill Creek Alliance. Mike Fremont and others, Robin Carruthers especially, had a vision about what could be done to make this stream an asset for recreation, for developing a natural environment, and for creating an amenity that would draw people to it. And taking elected officials down the Mill Creek, showing them personally what the creek looks like, and bringing them into the family of concern and revitalization and transformation of the creek is getting people to feel connected to it by having an intimate personal experience with it. And unless you have that, there's no reason for you to give a damn.
There are 29 vested communities whose borders touch the creek along its 28-mile stretch.
Well, the communities that border the Mill Creek have so much at stake in the revitalization of the creek. Increases property values, makes more people want to live close to the creek, which means more people are going to want to live in the communities along the creek, so many of which have been challenged economically and been depressed, but have the opportunity here to themselves become revitalized, in part because of the revitalization and transformation of the Mill Creek. It's a wonderful win-win.
Once people started volunteering and helping with field work, they developed a sense of ownership. It's always been about the People's River and the people having that sense of ownership and wanting to see change in their environment and in their lives.
While industry was certainly part of the problem, they have been an integral part of the solution.
Guided by the careful hand and passionate leadership of Mill Creek Alliance, dozens of projects have been completed that have reshaped the environmental health and perception of Mill Creek.
We, along with some wonderful partners, Great Parks of Hamilton County and tri-state trails, as well as a number of suburban communities. Had to negotiate for several years, but we were able to acquire about a mile-long stream corridor along Sharon Creek. And Sharon Creek is a great stream and the water quality is good, but the habitat in the stream is terrible because it gets a lot of storm water in the creek when we have these big rainstorms, and it literally just scours the bottom of the creek. And it moves all the pebbles and the rocks and the gravel off the bottom of the creek. There's no habitat for the little critters like crawdads and beetles and water striders that are sort of the base of the food chain, and there's no place for little fish to hide. So we are doing stream restoration work along that entire 1 mile stretch. We're putting in various features which are going to allow the water to slow down, allow sediment and gravel to drop out and be in place. We're going to bring in other native rock and provide, places that will be hiding places for fish and other critters. And in doing that, we're then stabilizing the banks, which is going to allow the bike trail to come in right behind us. The bike trail will come right up Sharon Creek, through Sharonville and into Sharon Woods as part of our Triangle Trail project. At the end of the day, what we're calling the Triangle Trail in the suburban part of Hamilton County will be connected to the Crown, the rest of the bike trail that is looping around the city of Cincinnati, which also includes the Mill Creek. And so together, within the next 15 years or so, somebody will be able to take an 80-plus mile bike ride around greater Cincinnati, all centered on the Mill Creek. These restoration projects are fantastic, and to this day we're doing such great work. But fixing the creek is expensive. And to make these projects happen, we need support from individuals, from corporate sponsors, from private foundations, and government agencies.
The success of these projects is a testament to what can happen when communities come together with a shared vision for restoration and conservation.
The story of the Mill Creek over the last 30 years is one of transformation.
Today, it's a marvel. It's amazing how life clings on in the Mill Creek despite all these insults over the centuries. And it's life finding a niche.
It is amazing to go out on the creek and just to see how it has rebounded. I mean, you go out on a canoe and you can see schools of fish swimming by your canoe, and eagles and ospreys going overhead, and minks and beavers and muskrats on the banks. I mean, even 15 years ago, that probably would have seemed unthinkable. But the stream has just roared back to life. People said it was absolutely impossible. National experts said that the stream was irredeemable. But 30 years later, we've done it. I mean, the stream has come roaring back to life.
I have a lot of hope because I've seen so much progress in 32 years of involvement. So,
to me, the Mill Creek is an amazing story of hope and resilience. I mean, if we give nature a chance, it will come back. I mean, it is amazing to think where Mill Creek was 30 years ago and where it is now. If we can work together creatively, people who are going to work together in good faith and find solutions, find the win-win in every situation, this can be done. And if you can do it on Mill Creek, which was the worst stream in North America, if you can fix Mill Creek, you can do this anywhere.